is my book of the month, The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. Hi, I'm Steffi from Books That Teach Us. I read books and I share about things that I've learned from them so you can decide if they are worth reading or not. So you can decide what your next book is going to be. If you haven't read this book, definitely put it on your list. Before we continue, I want to share a moment from our sponsor, My Book Globe. I'm so excited to share my book globe with you all. I have been working on this interactive clickable map which spins and gives you book recommendations, all curated and read by me from all around the world. Every time I read a book from a new country, I will add it to the map, so the map is only going to keep on growing. This book was so powerful and eye-opening for me because I had no idea about the things that had actually happened in it. So this is historical fiction like you've never seen before. I picked up this book randomly in the library, which is one of my favorite ways to find books, and I thought it seemed interesting. It is set at the beginning of the 1900s when the Japanese, and it's all centered around Japanese women who came, and they were called picture brides, to come to the US as immigrants to be married to men they had never met in the US who were first generation Japanese immigrants. Now, at the time, there was no assimilation, so there were a lot of these Japanese workers. A lot of the women here were forced to marry these men that they'd never met. Some of them were very excited. Some of them had no idea. A lot of the letters that were written by the men were lies, where they said, oh, we got this big house and the white picket fence. And actually, a lot of the Japanese men were laborers. They were farmers working the land and in quite poverty-stricken situations. And the women were then left their lives in Japan to come there and lived very, very hard lives. And this book is not a child-friendly book. It's very dark in places, especially quite on at the beginning. And one of the things that I was so fascinated with this book is that it is all told as a collective we. There is no one main character that runs through this book. So I just want to read you the opening sentence. On the boat, we were mostly virgins. We had long black hair and flat white feet, and we were not very tall. Some of us had eaten nothing. Some of us came from the city, and the whole book is like that. So it's this whole collective as an experience for what these women went through. And I've never read a book like it. It's definitely going on my playlist for unusual narration. So subscribe if you're interested in that in the future. But I thought this was just so powerful of telling a story of this one very particular community and what happened to them. And I'm actually kicking myself for not including this on my World War II historical fiction list recently, because it takes us all the way up to World War II. And people who were Japanese Americans, some of them third-generation Americans, were rounded up wherever they lived and forced to go and be in concentration camps in the US, because the government were very worried about Japanese spies. Even though these people had assimilated into America, their kids had gone to school there, their kids were now growing up and having their kids, and this whole section of history that I had no idea about. And it's all told with this collective we. It then talks about the children going to school, all these different sections. I feel like obviously it's set in the US, but I learned a lot about Japanese culture through it and just about this kind of portion of immigrant history that I had no idea about. So that is why this is definitely my book of the month. It's a great one. You could potentially even tick off Japan and the US on this if you were doing a reading around the world challenge. And it certainly taught me a lot. The narration is beautiful. It's unsettling. It's very disturbing in sections, trigger warnings for rape, sexual violence. And it's definitely not an easy read, but a very, very powerful one. Thank you for listening. And if you're interested in more of my books of the month, you can join our letter. I send out an email and I will do a YouTube once a month of the best book that I read that month.